Good afternoon. I go by the pronouns she, her, and hers. I'm currently calling from the Ramaytush Ohlone unceded land, as you know, San Francisco. I identify as Mestiza, Comanche, and Basque Indigenous heritage. It's an honor to be here with all of you. And before we go into the acknowledgement, if we can take a breath and settle our mind and our body as we have been doing in this meditation, but bringing our attention to listening to this acknowledgement this afternoon. I would like to have a meaningful acknowledgement of the original peoples as I honor past, present, future in this moment in time of the inherent stewarding and care of our ancestral land. Acknowledgement is the first step towards moving away from colonized structures, yet it does not take the place of building and cultivating relationships with original people and establishing trust in a long-term supportive relational way. On this virtual gathering in the state of California, there are nearly 200 tribal nations. And in the US, there are nearly 600 tribal nations. That said, there are many more tribal nations unrecognized across this country. A land acknowledgement is a critical step towards working with Native communities to secure meaningful partnership and inclusion and stewarding and protecting of natural and cultural resources. Let's take a moment of silence to honor the unceded land you're on and recognize past, present, and future in this moment. May we gather upon the strength of all Indigenous people worldwide have shown to continue to steward and protect our land and natural resources. I would like to end with a prayer, an Inuit prayer of North America. May the earth teach me stillness as the grass are stilled with light. May the earth teach me suffering as an old stones suffer from memory. May the earth teach me humility as blossoms are humble with beginnings. May the earth teach me caring as the mother who secures her young. May the earth teach me courage as the tree which stands all alone. May the earth teach me limitations as the ant which crawls on the ground. May the earth teach me freedom as the eagle which soars in the sky. May the earth teach me resignation as the leaves which die in the fall. May the earth teach me regeneration as the seed which rises in the spring. May the earth teach me to forget myself as melted snow forgets its life. May the earth teach me to remember kindness as dry fields weep with rain. Oh, Atakiase, sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you.
And real. And I also want to just acknowledge that we are in this particular building sitting on the original Chinatown in Santa Cruz. And actually within this complex, it's really interesting. There's a lot of health professionals There's a Jewish synagogue, there's a Tibetan Buddhist center, there's our center, there's a number of therapists. But this immediate land here was the last place of Chinatown in Santa Cruz. I want to just name that as well. So thank you all, and yeah. So thank you all, both in the live stream world and in-person world. And I'm Bob Stahl, and today is the day of passing on the Dharma torch of the guiding teachership to JD Doyle. And there is a tradition within Buddhism of passing the torch of the Dharma from one generation to the next. When the Buddha was asked, who will be the teacher after you die? And there was two things that the Buddha said: that the teachings will be the teacher. That the teachings will be the teacher. Then secondly said, honor your elders, those that are in the robes, measured by how many rainy seasons they've lived in the robes. Honor your elders. Since Insight Santa Cruz is not a monastic order, we've started a tradition. This is now the third time. Mary Grace Orr was the founding teacher and guiding teacher for Insight Santa Cruz for many years, and passed it on to me, and now for me to pass on to JD. And I've reflected a lot about the qualities of a guiding teacher. And over these years, I've spent time just reflecting, and I want to share some of these qualities now. What a guiding teacher aspires to possess and to embody these qualities. A guiding teacher embodies wisdom, humility, discernment, thoughtfulness, loving kindness, and compassion. A guiding teacher is skilled as best they can in wise speech and communication, holding with empathy and deep listening. A guiding teacher lives with non-harming, ahimsa, the 5 precepts: to not kill, that life is sacred. This builds safety. To not steal, and this builds trust and generosity. To not harm with sexuality, that builds respect and dignity. To not cause harm with speech, that builds safety, trust, respect, and dignity. And to abstain from intoxication, that helps support the building of clarity and clear comprehension, to be mindful and present. The guiding teacher is the spiritual leader of Insight Santa Cruz, an elder in the Dharma. The guiding teacher has multiple years of practice, retreats, instructions, and received transmission from a senior Buddhist teacher or teachers, and is able to offer transmission to other teachers, to transmit to other teachers. A guiding teacher has extensive personal retreat experience, can teach retreats, train new retreat teachers, and also teach classes, sittings, and day-longs. A guiding teacher is responsible for teaching and coordinating mentorship programs, mentoring or assigning teacher mentors. This is a tradition within Buddhism where those who have been given transmission as a Dharma teacher by their teachers can give transmission to new teachers. The guiding teacher will be connected in a collegial way with other Buddhist teachers and communities. The guiding teacher will be responsible for all programming of Insight Santa Cruz, making certain programs remain congruent with its Dharma mission statement. The Insight Santa Cruz mission statement will serve as a guideline for programming. Here's the mission statement. The mission of Insight Santa Cruz is to support anyone interested in the path of awakening and liberation through mindfulness and loving kindness. To support this mission, Insight Santa Cruz offers a variety of classes, practice opportunities to help cultivate wisdom and compassion inspired by the Theravadan early Buddhist tradition. Insight Santa Cruz teachers provide guidance, support, and inspiration to develop integrity, ethical living, steadiness of mind, concentration, insight into the causes of suffering and the path to freedom, wisdom. Insight Santa Cruz and its teachers charge no fees. We are solely sustained by generosity and volunteer support that we have done for the last 32 years. This model of service and generosity awakens and gladdens the heart. and has deep roots in ancient Buddhism. The diversity statement, which was inspired by the Spirit Rock mission statement and the statement of values. Insight Santa Cruz welcomes everyone. We respect and support all people, no matter of their ethnic origin, race, gender, cultural background, socioeconomic class, age, sexual orientation, gender identity, or physical ability. What we all share is the intention to grow in mindfulness and compassion and to lessen suffering. May the awareness of the needs of diverse communities continue to be recognized and grow in our center. May we, to the best of our ability, take actions that eliminate cultural, racial, ethnic, economic, and physical barriers to practice. May we heal the experiences of separation. May we all know the commonality of our nature for the benefit of all beings everywhere. May all beings dwell with peace. JD, do you accept this?
Yeah.
Do you accept this?
Yes, thanks.
Do you accept this?
Yes. Thank you, Bob.
Continue on. On December 11th, 2011, the founding and guiding teacher of Insight Santa Cruz, Mary Grace Orr, blessed me to become the next guiding teacher at Insight Santa Cruz. Having served for 10 years to this very day, the time is right to make a change, not only for myself, but also for Insight Santa Cruz. I feel it's wise to bring forth fresh energy and to meet these times. When I became the guiding teacher, I had the intention to offer 10 years of service, and now, after an extended search, we have found, in my opinion, the perfect person, JD Doyle, to carry on as the next guiding teacher of Insight Santa Cruz. I've been very touched with JD's dedication to the Dharma and feel they is the right person to help us move forward and make our Dharma offerings even more available with greater inclusion and diversity. I had imagined we'd all be back in person at Insight Santa Cruz for the ceremony, but not the case due to the pandemic. But I do feel that we are in very good hands. This is the right time to pass on the torch of the Dharma. It's been very important to me that there be a unified guiding teacher transition with a lot of integrity and clear communication with our Sangha every step of the way. And I'm very grateful that we made this happen. My goal, and I used to say a lot, is that the transition is seamless, like a snake losing its skin, and when did the old skin come off and the new one come on? I met JD over 2 years ago when they was offering some teachings at Insight Santa Cruz, and I experienced right away a very kind and wise person of presence who listened deeply, respectfully, to everyone. I was impressed with JD's deep dedication to the Dharma and to inclusivity. And this was further reinforced when JD, Mary Grace, and I taught the annual Insight Santa Cruz Meditation Retreat online last December that was hosted by Insight Retreat Center. I was touched with JD's knowledge of the Dharma and possessing a wise, embodied, humble, kind, and respectful presence. These are the qualities that I want in a guiding teacher. As I sat reflecting on JD, it became clear to me that this would be the right fit, that they would be the right fit for Insight Santa Cruz, and I feel fortunate JD accepted the invitation to become the next guiding teacher. With input and collaboration with the board, the Insight Santa Cruz teaching community, the Sangha community, I invited JD to become the next guiding teacher for the welfare of Insight Santa Cruz and to the larger world that has so much suffering. JD is a fully empowered Dharma teacher, having graduated from the Spirit Rock Teacher Training Program. A few days ago, I had a wonderful conversation with JD about radical inclusivity, and they mentioned to me how it came from studying environmental studies at Cornell, with how much that JD loved systems and that the environment needs diversity for it to grow and flourish. And that's the same for human beings, that we need each other with all of the beautiful and diverse expressions to grow into a wiser and kinder shared world. I was intrigued to learn that JD also graduated from UCSC, our local university, loves Santa Cruz, taught in Castroville School District as a bilingual elementary school teacher. And then JD moved to Oakland and has been a core teacher and member of the East Bay Meditation Center for many years, and that they is now happy to spend more time in Santa Cruz. On a personal note, I was also happy that JD grew up in Newburyport, Massachusetts, close to where I grew up, and we both kind of talk alike, you know, like park your car in Harvard Yard and all types of stuff. I want to thank everyone. I want everyone to know, actually I should say, I want everyone to know that I love Insight Santa Cruz, and I'm not going away, and that I plan to support JD, and I will continue to teach at Insight Santa Cruz with the Monday evening and Tuesday noon sits, and offer day-longs, classes, retreats that I've been offering through the years, so I'll be around. It's truly been a deep honor to serve and support Insight Santa Cruz, and I'll always treasure this. I'm also immensely grateful to the teachers, the facilitators, the sit leaders, the board members, the volunteers, and all the Sangha members who have offered their time and support to Insight Santa Cruz. And I especially want to thank Linda Kittle, our board president extraordinaire, whose dedication and kindness has supported our Sangha as well as me in so many seen and unseen ways. Thank you, Linda. It truly takes a village to run a meditation center, and I offer my deep gratitude and bows for everyone's service. In closing, may we remember the most important part of our practice is the lessening of greed, hatred, and ignorance, or in a more positive tone, developing greater contentment, love, and wisdom. Through mindfulness practice, may we see through the dharma of identity with all the conditioning, stories, identifications, beliefs, narratives that have held us hostage. As we awaken, we can begin to unlearn what has been learned. This will foster the end, the lessening of bias, racism, egocentricity, narcissism, and separation. There is no greater practice than this, to make peace by seeing through the conditioned mind, body, and heart. I once heard that there was a story at the Zen Center of a teacher that was being invited to become the guiding teacher, and evidently in their tradition they call it the mountain seat. And there was this ritual where the person that was going to become the guiding teacher to sit on the mountain seat had to pass a little test of 2 questions. So you've already passed, JD. I'm just going to kind of, I love this little story. But the first question was, how do you serve the Sangha? The second question was, how do you serve yourself? So the answer was, how do you serve the Sangha? The aspiring GT said, serve yourself. How do you serve yourself? Serve the Sangha. So I like that wisdom. How do you serve the Sangha? Serve yourself. How do you serve yourself? Serve the Sangha. So, dear JD, by the power of the Dharma that has been bestowed upon me by my teachers, Venerable Tangpulu Sayadaw, Venerable Laindit Sayadaw, Venerable Pakoku Sayadaw, and Venerable Dr. Rina Surkar, and by the power of the Dharma that Mary Grace Orr, founder and guiding teacher of Insight Santa Cruz, bestowed the guiding teacher to me, I offer you the next guiding teacher, the mountain seat at Insight Santa Cruz. And I want to say to you that I fully commit in supporting you as you become the guiding teacher. For the welfare of the Sangha, I support you as your spiritual friend, your colleague, your mentor, and confidant. And I want to offer you a couple of things. 10 years ago on this day, Mary Grace gave me the key to the center at Insight Santa Cruz on the west side, 1010 Fair Avenue. We don't even have a key anymore out there. We just have a combination. But I thought that I've held this for 10 years, and I'm giving you the key to Insight Santa Cruz. And then secondly, in the honor of your environmental studies and liking all of the diversity that makes a healthy environment, just today I was able to find a very beautiful picture of a succulent, a rainbow succulent named Escaveria, and I want to offer this to you as a gift of the multi-beauty that brings unification and love into the world. So I want to hug you. Thank you so much. So a little bit more, then I'll be done. Okay. Okay. So it looks like something froze, and we're attending to that now. And Jim, you'll give a thumbs up when we're ready. We can just kind of sit and take this in.
Would you like me to go ahead? Okay. With much compassion. Compassion and love to all of you. Greetings from our Dhammadharini Bhikkhuni Monastery in the Sonoma Mountain area of the San Francisco North Bay, the traditional home of the Kotati people, a peaceful Miwok tribe who lived in this valley for generations before us, now home to our growing community of California Bhikkhunis of many nations. I'm Dhammadharini founder, Ayatata Aloka, also known as Bhikkhuni Tata Aloka Theri, a longtime friend of the Insight Santa Cruz community. At times of important transitions, we remember the past as we see the present unfolding. I remember with immensely warm heart the warm welcome, friendship, and support from Mary Grace and friends of Insight Santa Cruz when we first began Dhammadharini, the first place of Theravada Bhikkhunis in the Western United States, with our original little rented vihara in the San Francisco East Bay in Fremont's Old Town Niles, now more than 15 years ago, during which time I came regularly to Santa Cruz with then Anagarika, now Bhikkhuni, Ayasantusika, and Anagarika Carol Porter, who used to live in Santa Cruz, now Bhikkhuni Ayasuvijana Theri. Santa Cruz for years was an important place for her in the development of her Buddhist path, up until moving near Abhayagiri Monastery and then entering monastic life with Dhammadharini. Ayasuvijana became the first American Bhikkhuni of Native American heritage. I remember the day long of opening blessings of the old ISC warehouse location with its lovely bamboo floors, together with Ajahn Amaro, and Mary Grace's beautiful dedication to have the participation of both Bhikkhu and Bhikkhuni teachers. I've been glad to see, as our Northern California Bhikkhunis have grown in number and spread, Ayasantusika of Karuna Buddhist Vihara, and also Ayananda Bodhi of Aloka Vihara. But back in 2014, a good friend of Vipassana Santa Cruz, Nancy Gill, and her aspirations to monastic life, fulfilled in the last hours of her life, going to the great beyond as Anagarika Metta Panya. Her great heart, Bob's great kindness, and such a faithful, true group of Dhamma friends. And I remember, also greatly, warmly, and perhaps most importantly for today, the friendship and support of JD, who for several years I thought of as B. Mudita. From back at our original first Dhammadrini Vihara to the Mojave Desert at Dhammadina Desert Vipassana, to the beginnings of our forest hermitage Aranya Bodhi on the Sonoma Coast 10 years ago, at East Bay Meditation Center and Spirit Rock, our neighbors. How happy I've been to have JD as a Dhamma friend during this whole time. Truly, such good Dhamma friendship over time is one of the things that makes our world bright. May you have every good blessing. Come, gather. Our monastic community is here. This is the monastic swarm. Welcome in. No, come here, please. Can you move the table and come here? Please move the table and come here. Gather all. No, you stand up. Gather all around.
We'll begin.
Yeah, stand up and gather. You can come, please. Stand up and gather around. You see, this is to move monastics is very easy, or we gather everyone in here together. This is our Bhikkhuni Sangha. Come, put your head in the camera. Here, Aya, can you come in? let Aya Sopana come in here. Yeah, together. Okay. We can come together. There we go. Okay. So now, don't push on the back of that. May you have every good blessing. May all the devas protect you. By the power of all the Buddhas, may you ever be well. May you have every good blessing. May all the devas protect you. By the power of all the Dhamma, may you ever be well. May you have every good blessing. May all the devas protect you. By the power of all the Sangha, may you ever be well. Bhavantu sabhamanghalang, rakantu sabhadevatam, sabhabhutanupavena, Sattva soti bhavantu te, bhavantu sabhamangalam, rakantu sabhadevatam, sabhadhammanupavena, Sattva soti bhavantu te, bhavantu sabhamangalam, rakantu sabhadevatam, sabhasanghanupavena, Sattva soti bhavantu te. May you have every good blessing. May all the devas protect you by the power of the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. May we be well. May we grow in that deep, most excellent well-being and happiness, which can hold and touch and pass through absolutely everything and finds its ultimate peace, freedom, and happiness in Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Go well, be well. Blessings to the whole community.
So this is
I think we have to chat with them.
I guess I'm on, huh? Yeah, you can hear me? Good. Okay. So I speak to you today from the big island of Hawaii, and which is, as you know, the home of generations of Polynesian wayfarers, and now, of course, for many other people. I said when I left 10 years ago that I felt a little like I was getting to be a grandmother. And I have to say that today, as I listen to all of what Bob had to say and all of the proceedings, that I continue to feel like a grandmother, maybe even more so, seeing what's happening with that kind of different perspective that a grandmother has. I have 4 young adult male grandchildren, and they are all beginning to move out into their lives. And it's a pretty amazing process to be a grandparent. And they're moving ahead, and I'm becoming older and older, sort of amazingly, and having some sense of a life well lived. And of course, very much part of my life still has been this time of being with Insight Santa Cruz. So I've thought a lot in the last couple of days, the early days when we met primarily at the Zen Center in Santa Cruz, who most graciously welcomed us and nurtured us as we persevered and we moved. And somewhere in those very early days was when I met Bob. And all I remember about Bob is that he had pants on with suspenders that day. And I was delighted to meet him, and it was the beginning of a really great friendship. The group grew and ultimately moved out of the Zen Center and moved off to the Methodist Church on California Street into their parish hall. And then, of course, in 2005 or maybe early 2006, I don't remember exactly when, came that great leap when we claimed our own center on Fair Street. And I think it was really in that time when we had that center that Bob really emerged into his role as a really important teacher at what was then Vipassana Santa Cruz. But, time went on, and I began to see that I wasn't going to last for forever, and I really wanted to live in Hawaii. And so went through a process, some of like what Bob has gone through as he and others, the whole community really sought for a new guiding teacher. But it was a little easier, I think, because Bob was right there and he was sort of the obvious choice, the person who really already was embedded in the community, knew it well, and loved it. And so I was astounded when I realized that today is exactly 10 years from that stepping down. And what I remember Bob telling me was, well, okay, I'll do it, but I'm only committing for 10 years. And by God, he committed for 10 years right down to the minute, I think. And so I appreciate that he really kept his commitment. and shepherded the Sangha well. You know, it's been marvelous to see how Vipassana Santa Cruz, now Insight Santa Cruz, has grown, has become more diverse, has a wide range of offerings, many more people who are helping in the teaching process, and of course, the really important move into the building in downtown Santa Cruz. And I think one of the things that's amazing about Bob is that he did all of this while he was traveling all over the world, carrying his really wonderful teachings to many, many different communities. I never knew where I would find him, or when I would see a posting on Facebook that says, I'm in the airport in Edinburgh and I'm on my way to Buenos Aires and then I'm going to Africa. You know, really a wonderful gift to the world of teachings. And so now, you know, it's time for the next shift. And JD has graciously accepted to be the next guiding teacher. And I, as one of the elders, look on with great joy and anticipation to see what's going to come next. You know, how will it unfold under JD's guidance? And I've had the great honor, as Bob mentioned, of teaching with JD last year. And really also, as Bob mentioned, seeing that they had a strong sense of the Dharma and that they teach with great clarity and joy and humor. Humor is a big one for me. I appreciate that. And so, as most of you know, our annual retreat starts the day after tomorrow. And JD and Bob and I are going to be teaching it again. So I'm very excited about that. I'm beginning to think, I'm hoping that this might be the reunion of guiding teachers that will happen every year. But who knows? Maybe not. And I really only wish that, like this ceremony, we could have done the retreat in person. That's what I thought was going to happen. And of course, it didn't. So when I perform wedding ceremonies, I'm thinking a lot about the potential of the new couple, the two people who are taking vows to be committed to each other. And I always ask the community of people who are gathered for that wedding to also take a vow, because they're the people who are going to support this new couple. So guess what? You are all the community who are going to support JD in their time as the guiding teacher. And you're going to support Bob as he moves on. And you're going to support each other as you continue to be a Sangha, finding new and creative ways to be in Santa Cruz. So I'm going to ask you, and I want you to signal back to me with a bow or a thumbs up. Do you promise to do this? Will you support JD in their work, Bob as he moves on, and your community? Thank you. Thank you. So I have no anxiety about Insight Santa Cruz. It's really wonderful. Here it is, growing up, developing. I see that it's stable and it's robust. It's finding new and innovative ways to offer the Dharma. I rejoice in that. I offer every blessing to Bob as he leaves, and to JD as they step up, and to the entire Sangha. May you all be happy and peaceful, have courage and creativity to explore what is new. May you all be at ease, and may you all come to freedom. Thank you.
Jim, which mic?
Who's going to speak? Andrea?
Jessica.
You. Jessica? Yeah, try the room mic.
Hello?
See if we can hear you on there.
Can everyone on Zoom hear me? Yeah, okay. Whatever's easiest for, I don't. Okay. Okay. I'll just stay here then. I was invited to offer a blessing. My name's Jessica Escobedo, for those of you who don't know me. JD invited me because I introduced her to the center and invited them here to offer some teachings. And I was very intentional with that and had my own motivations. Joy, happiness, liberation that comes from this little seed that's sprouting. May it benefit all beings. May all beings be happy, healthy, full of joy, happiness, and feel the freedom to be exactly who they are.
So I'm understanding that you all on Zoom can hear me. Is that right? A thumbs up. Andrea, you can hear me? No. Okay. So, Evie, if you could let Andrea know, it's Andrea and Gil. And Gil is not going to be able to be here today, so Andrea has a reading, a blessing from you.
So I think we heard, let's see. I guess I think the live stream needs to be muted. Okay, now I'm not getting the feedback. So can you hear me? Great. Okay. So patience with technology. That's what we're dealing with today. So I think I heard Bob say the sound from the room that we're hearing on Zoom is pretty garbled. So I think I heard Bob say that Gil can't be here today. He had a family emergency. He had planned to come and offer a blessing. But he did write something in. My name is Andrea, by the way. I'm the co-guiding teacher at Insight Meditation Center and a core teacher at Insight Retreat Center, where some of your retreats are actually held. And so Gil asked me if I would
I'm delighted and inspired by you, your practice, and your teaching. I'm confident that you are the right person to
cruise into the future. Serving as the Dharma teacher for a community of practitioners is a wonderful calling. It is an ever-learning opportunity to grow in the Dharma. It is a blessed life to be able to support others so they can find the Dharma in all the different expressions and activities of their life. The joy and satisfaction of an insight teacher, of an insight center teacher, is to see the Dharma, to practice the Dharma, and to demonstrate the Dharma in every detail of caring for a practice community. Please know that you have the full support of IMC Insight Meditation Center, ISC's sibling in the Dharma. You also have my support, Gil's support. Please let me know if there's any way I can support you and Insight Santa Cruz. With much joy and metta, Gil Fronsdahl. And then to the community, he says, Insight Santa Cruz community. Having a Dharma teacher at the center of Insight Santa Cruz is a great blessing. Please take good care of JD so JD can take good care of you. If all of you care for Insight Santa Cruz as an extension of your own practice, ISC will grow in its potential as a thriving practice center, benefiting innumerable people. The more you practice together with JD, the more JD's practice will grow. The more JD is given the chance to teach, the more their teaching will shine within ISC. As JD steps into the role of guiding teacher, all of you have the opportunity to also step forward in your practice and support of ISC. I'm confident that ISC is at the dawn of a new and wonderful stage. You all have the ingredients to be a thriving Dharma center far into the future. With much metta and support, Gil Fronsdahl. I was also asked to say something to JD. I'm delighted to be able to welcome you into the community of teachers in the Bay Area, teaching at the communities in the Bay Area. I was thinking earlier about what to say, and I went to the words of the Buddha. I reflected on, thought about, how does the Buddha teach in his communities? And it said, he talked to his monks about how to teach the Dharma. And he encouraged two key qualities. Anukampa, which is a Pali that often is translated as compassion, but means something more like care or compassion, care or kindness or empathy. That over and over again, it said that the Buddha offered his teachings with anukampa, with care, with empathy, with compassion. And it said that if people didn't understand the teachings, he offered the teachings with care. And he remained with equanimity. Now, this is the second quality we're really encouraged to cultivate as a teacher, this quality of care and the quality of equanimity. And for equanimity, there's the usual Pali term we often say is translated as equanimity is upekkha. But there's another word, tatra majatata, which literally means to stand in the middle. And that's standing in the middle. It's not a detachment. It's not a neutrality. It's really engaged, standing in the middle of what can be in a community a whirlwind. So these are two qualities I wish for you, JD. This anukampa and this tatra majatata. And I'll close with a Buddhist prayer that is a version of a Buddhist blessing by Jack Cornfield. Just as the soft rains fill the streams, pour into the rivers, and join together in the oceans, so may the power of every moment of your goodness flow forth to awaken and heal all beings, those here now, those gone before, those yet to come. Thank you for taking this responsibility this care and this stepping into the middle, what you're doing. Thank you for doing this. It will serve so many people. And to the ISC community, as others have said, it's your responsibility to step into the middle of the community. Serve the community by serving yourselves and serving others. So thank you all.
Greetings, everybody. My name is Larry Yang, and I'm on the land of the Agua Caliente Band of the Cohilla Indian Nation, also known as Palm Springs, California. I go by the pronouns he, him, and his. I really appreciate this invitation from JD and Bob and the Sangha for this opportunity to make an offering, and I also bring blessings from Gina Sharp and Leela Kate Wheeler, who could not be in attendance. These words are meant for everyone, and these words are in specific for JD because I respect you, JD. I trust you, JD. And most of all, I love you, JD. And in the midst of respect, trust, and love, honestly, I still have this skepticism over this guiding teacher thing. And I'm only being partially humorous, as I told you I might be. The skepticism is not about you, but about the role itself. It is not about Insight Santa Cruz, but anywhere, in any community. Is a guiding teacher a vestigial expression of patriarchy and hierarchy and vertical forms of control? I am not convinced that this historical and very unconscious patterning is not present in some form in most of our insight communities. Or, can a guiding teacher be an expression of transformative spiritual leadership for the creative visioning of what is possible, and thus be a resource for the energy of inspiration, which is one of the most ineffable motivations for spiritual practice? And if this is possible, what would incline conditions to create the latter experience rather than the former experience of guiding teacher? I believe one substantial piece of that answer is the wise use of power. And there is power involved. Spiritual authority is a powerful energy that can be used for the benefit of the many. And when spiritual power and authority does not have the boundary and containment of moment-to-moment wisdom and discernment, then the opposite of benefit, and sometimes tremendous harm, is likely to occur. I would strongly encourage and support you to be as aware of power as possible in order to use it well, and to leverage power to increase the benefit, the safety, and the well-being of as many beings as possible. And in contrast, I would suggest never to use power simply because it is present or because it is the easy resolution to things. And in the longer term, the most skillful use of power is to marry it with the practice of generosity and to give it away. I would strongly recommend never to be the glass ceiling of any community, spiritual or otherwise. My father, who was a teacher himself, believed that the mark of a successful teacher is someone who gives multiple opportunities to others to supersede their own teachers. To offer power to others by creating empowerment for them. The more people through whom power flows does not diminish the amount of power that you or any individual has. Thus, it is never too soon to cultivate one's successors. And this collective focus and awareness of power raises all the potentials of all the members of a community together. This is power to be respected. This is power to be trusted. This is power to be loved. JD, I respect, trust, and love you to do exactly this to the best of your abilities. Boundless blessings to you and all your communities.
Okay, so I'm doing a sound check. How's that, Jim? Sounds like it's okay in the room. How's that on the live stream? Is somebody checking with the chat on the live stream that can help us?
One person said it's fine. It's
Good? Okay, thanks.
But some of the people are confused. They should all be Zoom, right? Yes.
Okay, so I have the keys. Right here. Now we just have to find the door. That will open the key. So I'm gonna put these around my neck, Bob, but it won't work, so. Teacher that being in the front of the room and receiving all this attention comes easily, and that is definitely not the case for me. And I am sincerely touched by everybody's being here on the live stream, sitting through Zoom, and all of these technical difficulties that we've been experiencing. And you know, it teachers, these blessings for Bob, for all crickets. Blessings to the crickets. Blessing, thank you for everyone. And I really understand and hear so deeply from everyone about how this arising of this occasion today is a group effort, and that I'm here because you're here. And
I really have such gratitude for the Insight Santa Cruz community for welcoming me with such open hearts and open arms. And I've worked for about 15 years at the East Bay Meditation Center, and the last 5 of those as a core teacher there. And one of the things that's been so amazing for me at East Bay Meditation Center is to be fully embraced and welcomed as who I am. And I haven't always found that in many situations in my life. And so to feel that here at Insight Santa Cruz has been of all beings, knowing that that is going to require us to have forbearance and determination and patience, and that the true aim of the Dharma is not comfort. It's not to get a little bit extra and then maybe have that, little smile that those people who've gotten there have. It's really to be able to be in the middle that I heard so much about today. So I'm really so grateful, because as a non-binary person, being in the middle is something that I know. As somebody who has expanded beyond the concepts of this or that, one or the other, the middle path of the Buddhist teachings is something that I have experienced deeply. And so I'm really excited to be here with you, to be here. There's a big screen right here that we see ourselves here in this room. And I want to acknowledge that this flow that has happened from the East Bay Meditation Center to me I'm not the first one. There has been a back and forth from here to EBMC, from here to Spirit Rock, from here to Insight Redwood City. All of these flows, everybody, we're in the same Dharma stream. And there have been other teachers from the EBMC that I want to call into the room, Kitsy Showen and Crystal Johnson, who come here and offered the White Awakening in Sangha, and Renee Rivera and Luigi Kim, who came and offered a Beyond the Binary with me here. And so we use these foundations of the Dharma to explore what it means to be fully alive at this time in the world. And most recently here, I was teaching with some other teachers here in Santa Cruz, a 6-month course that we had a very large name for: Uprooting the Conditions for Suffering, Building Anti-Racist Communities. And that is part of the foundation, I think, of what it means right now in our country, in our nation, to look at the conditions, that have created the world that we live in. And so this way that we can come together to bring our practice to the fullness of what it means to be human, and what it means to be human in this time. And I think that I forgot that my email used to be Mudita Aya Tata Loka, because that was Yahoo, and I had to get rid of my Yahoo account. But B Mudita was an aspirational email name, because at that point in my life I did not feel a lot of joy. And so I created Mudita, thankfully, had already been taken. Mudita is empathetic joy, for those of you who don't know the Pali names. And so I had to find a different email. So I did Be Mudita, with this aspiration of creating more joy in my life, so that every time I went onto that device, I would remember that I really wanted joy. And so Be Mudita is actually something that has become an integral part of my daily life. and that finding moments of joy, even in the midst of uncertainty, even in the midst of challenge, like being here with all of you, is such happiness. So what I would like to do right now is as many of you have heard, I completed a 4-year teacher training through Spirit Rock Meditation Center in the Theravadan tradition with the wisdom of Larry Yang, Gina Sharp, and Leela Kate Wheeler as the guiding teachers of that, and the host of many, many other teachers. And as one of the last things that we were invited to do was to write our own vows to become a Dharma teacher and offer them at the graduation. And so I had shared these vows with Linda Kittle, who's been amazing board chair here at Insight Santa Cruz, and Bob, and they said, oh, you have to read them. So I'm going to share them with you right now. And these are the vows that I shared at the Spirit Rock teacher training graduation. I want to begin by offering deep gratitude to the lineage of the Buddha and the Dharma and the Sangha, and to offer gratitude to the ancestors, to my parents, my family, my friends, and all my teachers for holding me in love and helping me grow in compassion and wisdom. I offer gratitude to the earth and to all their beings for supporting and nourishing all of us. I vow to commit non-harming with my body, speech, mind, and actions, reflecting the understanding of non-separation and interbeing. I vow to cultivate non-greed in all ways and water the capacity for generosity. I vow to disrupt legacies and habits of hate and grow the capacity for love and compassion so that life is permeated with the spirit of kindness. I vow to penetrate through the veils of ignorance to develop clarity, curiosity, and tenacity with which to cut through delusion with fearlessness and loving awareness. With these vows, I seek to honor the infinite web of mutuality that has brought us collectively to this moment and acknowledge the humility and curiosity that will be needed to go forth in the community and to serve with love for the benefit and freedom of all beings.
Sad, sad, sad.
So you all were invited, and you came here to have some candles, so we're going to have some instructions, the candle ceremony.
Sit between you.
Can we also get a wipe for the mic? Is there a wipe? We have some wipes for them. Can we get a wipe for the mic?
JD,
We have our little mic
yeah.
hats. Thank you.
Can you sit there? Bob, can you sit there?
Okay.
Let's sit right here.
Thanks.
Do you want a little
I have
cover?
yeah, someone. I thought I did. Thank you.
Is my voice meeting your ears? In person and online? Okay. I have a candle in my hand, but we're not lighting our candles yet. First, I just want to recognize what's present in myself right now. This is my first time in the center for a while, since the pandemic. I wasn't sure what it was going to be like. It's both pleasant and unpleasant. Some neutral. There's a beautiful flow that's happening, right? And as I look out into the room, again, in person and virtual, I'm reminded of not this center. You know, we've shared so much time together online as well. So it's not the virtual center or the physical center that makes us Sangha. It's not a thing, or it's not I, and it's not you. I like the phrase that was taught to me that Sangha is a verb. It's a being, a doing. And as we are here together, remembering that as we come together in community. And one of the things when I first met JD, which was a few years ago at the Gen X Dharma Teacher Retreat, and it was in this moment when I met JD where as soon as they made eye contact, there was a sense of you belong and I see you. And I felt that connection, community. And there's the humor, and there's the steadfastness that JD holds and the wisdom. And I can go on, and many of us have expressed some of our heart words, and they ring true. And it's with love, and it's with care, and it's with the seed that Jessica originally planted, and with all of us watering the seed together. I appreciate this interconnection. And I am so thrilled that when as JD is here, like that thread of who is in the circle that JD brings with them, like your friends and family and teachers, and like our community is so beautiful. So thank you. And in this part of this ceremony, we're not lighting our candles yet, but it will happen. Feeling that little bit of anticipation in the belly. There's a couple of dear friends also that are going to say something right now. So I'm going to pass it on.
Put the panties on my mic. JD. So, some years ago, two women of color, Akiko Minami and Laura Turner Essel, came to Bob Stahl, came to the board and said they'd like to have a people of color meeting here. They just wondered if they could use our space for a meeting. And luckily, Eve Eden was a part of a diversity committee at that time, and Bob and everyone had been doing some work and were really interested in having more diversity here. And so with Bob set up some meetings with us, and they became close friends, and so for years now we've had a People of Color Sangha, and it's been very separate. There's not been much interaction. Partly because I had a hard time navigating the, what's it called? It's a committee that JD asked me to be on. The one where they decide what's going to happen. That one. Every time we wanted to do something, it's like, oh, there's a meeting and it's this time, and then it takes a few months, and then I'm like, forget it. So whatever that committee is, JD asked me a few weeks ago, she was like, yeah, you should be on that committee. I'm like, that'll probably make it good. I'll be less scared. But they have made it possible and exciting to bring to fruition something that the board and Bob and the diversity committee and the POC committee and everyone in the Sangha has been wanting for a long time, which is actually having a space that really is welcoming for people of color, that there's enough education and understanding for people to make space, maybe because they now know how. Sometimes we have a desire to do something, but we don't know how to do it, and our intention and the impact aren't the same. And so JD has a commitment to anti-racist Sangha. And we're all super stoked. And I want to invite up G to share more from the Rainbow Sangha. So the POC Sangha, we're super stoked, and we think that there's much more possibility and probability of more integration and more collaboration and more welcoming of the greater community that you're a part of in the East Bay, to be more connected. Thank you.
Hi. This is the best seat in the house right here between these two. Oh my gosh. Oh, can I take my? Please. Yeah. Oh. Always feel like I've been holding my breath for 2 hours. Okay. Hi, JD. So I'm here on behalf of the Rainbow Sangha, and we're just thrilled to have you as our guiding teacher. And I have to turn to Bob, because you have been such a strong and persistent advocate for the, can y'all hear me okay? Is that good? Yeah. For our community, the LGBTQ community, and to create this Sangha, starting out with half-day retreats once a year, and you just kept pushing, you're like, do a little more, just, over time, very gently, but persistently. And so, really appreciate, been such a good ally to our community. And I think, like Jessica was saying, I'm stoked that you are taking over as our new guiding teacher. It just feels so right, in the right time, the right place. I was thinking about all these teachers who spoke, your teachers and some my teachers as well, and how they've laid the groundwork by promoting more inclusive and diverse communities, and addressing racial injustice, and really doing some hard work and making some changes. And so we've got the ball rolling, but now I feel like we're going to get some steam going here. And it just feels like this is just so right to have you here. So I also want to say I've have had the honor to work with you on that that long-named workshop we did, anti-racist workshop, and then also 1 or 2 retreats with you, and you just rock. You're so strong, so powerful, so dedicated, and you're fun. It's you're not overly serious. I know you have some serious, but you know how to laugh and have a good time, because that's so important. Such a big piece and inspiring to me. Maybe I'll take over B Modita, because I want to do that too. So I hope that's a big part of your teachings. So. So just wishing you the highest blessings. Maha Mangala.
Hi, it's Kara again. So the candle, this light, is a symbol of each of our light of awareness that each of us hold, that each of us have. And so you'll, for those of you online and in person, have your candles with you. And we'll be lighting from this light, these candles, as a Sangha, as a community, really as one. Right? Bringing our awareness here. And so I'll start off by lighting mine, and then Yasmina will come in and lead us through some metta as we're lighting our candles. So bringing to mind the image of the self, maybe the youngest, cutest little image of yourself you can imagine, and bringing loving kindness to yourself. And saying quietly in your mind, may I be happy. May I be peaceful. May I be safe. May I be healthy. And now, shifting our attention and bringing to mind the image of a loved one, a teacher, a benefactor, someone who's really cared for you and supported you, to symbolize all of our benefactors.
May they be happy. May they be peaceful. May they be healthy. May they be safe. And now expanding this intention of loving kindness out to bring to the center of our attention a neutral person. Maybe the last person who delivered your mail or some takeout food or rang you up. May they be happy. May they be peaceful. May they be safe. And expanding this intention of loving kindness out further to include a challenging person, to represent challenging people. Maybe not the most challenging person, but someone for whom the relationship has been difficult. And may they be happy. May they be peaceful. May they be safe. And finally, extending right from the center of our being, expanding out to include all sentient beings. May we be happy. May we be safe. May we be peaceful. May we be healthy and free from suffering. No one left behind. I don't know what we do with our candles.
If you're at home, you can do whatever you want, but here in the center, we need to blow them out.
If you're at home, you can do whatever you want. But here in the center, we're going to blow out our candles now. I'm being a joker.
So as part of this ceremony today, I wanted to double check before I start this section. Can people hear me? And online as well? Okay, great. One of the traditional things that we do in Buddhist ceremonies is offer and take the refuges and precepts. And so I wanted to say a few things because I know for some people they may not know what they are. So I'm going to keep it pretty brief and look it up online if you need more later, as I'm noticing the time and I want us to honor your time. So the first thing are the three refuges: the refuge of the Buddha, the refuge of the Dharma, and the refuge of the Sangha. And then we'll be taking the 5 precepts, and then we'll be chanting invitation for those who would like to chant them in Pali, which was the language closest to the language of the Buddha, which we offer them, that has been offered for over 2,500 years. So the first refuge is the refuge of the Buddha. And so this can be considered the person over 2,500 years ago who was able to wake up free from greed, hatred, and ignorance. And it can also be considered that capacity within each of us to awaken. So as we consider taking refuge in the Buddha, we can consider taking refuge in the capacity within ourselves to be free from greed, free from hatred, and free from delusion. And the second refuge is the refuge of the Dharma. Taking refuge in the Dharma is to take refuge in nature, in the natural order of things, the way things are beyond our desire to have things be in the way we want to control them to our liking. So we can take refuge in the understanding of the natural unfolding of the world. And taking refuge in the Dharma, we can understand or begin to understand this path to the ending of suffering. And the third refuge is the refuge of Sangha, the refuge of community. And so this is the community of monastics and lay practitioners since the time of the Buddha that through time and space and countries and cultures has practiced the Buddhist teachings until they arrived here in this moment, in this very place, wherever you are. The teachings are arising with you here at our center at Insight Santa Cruz with all of us together. And so we can acknowledge our Sangha and acknowledge this gratitude for all those who through time and space have carried these teachings through hardship, through wars, through struggles, famine, all sorts of obstacles. And then we are the beneficiaries of the practice. So for those of you who are familiar with the Pali, we're going to do it all together. I'm not going to do it call and response. It repeats, so if you don't get at the first line, we'll kind of come in wherever you like. And my dad, whose tie I'm wearing today, used to always like going to Catholic Mass because he said that it doesn't matter if you can carry a tune when you sing in a spiritual place. And so I invite you all into that space. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddham saranam gacchami. Dhamman saranam gacchami. Sangham saranam gacchami. Dutiyampi buddham saranam gacchami. Dutiyampi dhamman saranam gacchami. Dutiyampi sangham saranam gacchami. Tatyampi buddham saranam gacchami. Tatyampi dhamman saranam gacchami. Tatyampi sangham saranam gacchami. And in the second part of this ritual, it's the taking and bringing into our lives of the 5 precepts. These are the trainings of non-harming, of how to live in the world with kindness and generosity for ourselves and for others. It's remembering the importance of integrity in our lives and how they are that is actually a gift of the heart. And so there are 5 precepts that we take, and I'm going to offer them very quickly in English, and then we'll go through, and you're invited to chant them in Pali if you would like. So the first precept, or the training, is to refrain from taking the life of any living creature. So that's to practice non-harming. The second precept is to undertake the training, undertake the precept, to refrain from taking that which is not given. It's a negative, so it might be a little hard to understand, but that is the practice of generosity. The third precept is to undertake the training to refrain from sexual misconduct, to pay attention to our sexuality in relationship with others. The fourth precept or training is to undertake the precept to refrain from false and harmful speech. And the fifth one is the training, the precept to refrain from consuming intoxicating drinks and drugs which lead to carelessness. So these are the trainings that are the foundation for integrity and for a community of non-harming. So this one doesn't have as many repetitions, but there are places in there that if you're not familiar with it, you might be able to join in. And those of you who would like to take these precepts are welcome to join in. And part of one of the things about chanting is to remember that these words have been chanted through thousands of years and that we are part of this tradition. So even in the hearing of the words, the vibrational field that comes in, there's a benefit for all of us. Panatipata Veramani Sikapadam Samadhiyami. Adinadana Veramani Sikapadam Samadhiyami. Kamesu Michara Veramani Sikapadam Samadhiyami. Mustawada Veramani Sikapadam Samadhiyami. Sora Mereya Majapamadhatana Veramani Sikapadam Samadhiyami. We'd like to invite Linda Kittle, who is our board chair, up to share a few words. And take this off.
Well, I tried to cancel this part of the presentation because it's 4:30, and you know when we have board meetings, we end on time. You're tired. It's been a long day, so I'm going to cut it short. What I was going to reflect on was the last 10 years of Bob's tenure and what he really did here behind the scenes that aren't seen. Whether it's teacher development, program development, facility development, financial development, it's pretty awe-inspiring to know really what happened behind the scenes over the last 10 years. And your vision took us there, and it's remarkable. So what all I'm going to say, except for that, is that it's your wisdom and your heart and your patience and your persistence and your true love of each and every one of us and of the center makes us better as individuals.
Okay. It's off? No, I think it's on. Oh my goodness. Well, I am so happy to sit right here next to both of you and to see everyone here today. I'm here just to very quickly offer this gift from the Sangha to Bob. It's called a Kudo board, and it's an online kind of like a collage board that people can all post their loving words to you, Bob, our gratitude for you, pictures of us with you, and pictures of the Sangha to remember us by. And it will be also made into a book, an actual book that you'll receive once everyone has put all their things on there. But just to give you a sense of what this is for everyone, wrote.
And thank you, everyone. And JD, you have the gong.
Thank you, Bob. And thank you to everybody who helped make today such an amazing event. You know, there's a lot of people behind the scenes here too, and so many hands and hearts went into creating this beautiful day, and thank you all so much. There was a very active committee of many people involved, and so really, really grateful for all of that. So thank you, everyone. We will end with a dedication of merit. And one of the beautiful things about offering a dedication of merit is it reminds us of our interconnectedness with each other and with all beings. So just like we can think of ourselves as like dropping a pebble in a pond and wishing goodness in all directions, thinking about our time together today as we heard about this importance of practicing for the liberation of all beings and considering all of those intentions that were brought forward and the blessings of the many teachers and the Sangha from Bob and from all of you in your hearts that we didn't hear. Thinking of all of that and offering any merit, any goodness from our practice here today in all directions to all beings. May all beings without exception be filled with loving kindness. May all beings in all realms, without exception, have access to the teachings of the Buddha. May all beings in all directions be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May any merit from our practice today be offered to all beings everywhere, so that all beings be free from suffering.
Welcome to the guiding teacher. Woo!
And I thought you were going to say fare thee well. All right, thank you, everyone. Okay. Thanks everyone out there on the live stream for hanging in with us.